you cannot solve, or with a difficult situation from which you cannot escape, or when uncertain and doubtful circumstances confuse and perplex you, then turn to God and the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his progeny, because God has thus ordered those whom he wants to guide. The way to turn to God is to act diligently according to the clear and explicit orders given in his holy book, and to turn to the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his progeny, means to follow those of his orders about which there is no doubt and ambiguity, and which have been generally accepted to be correctly recorded. So far as dispensing of justice is concerned, you have to be very careful in selecting officers for the same. You must select people of excellent character and high caliber, and with meritorious records. They must possess the following qualifications: abundance of litigations, and complexity of cases should not make them lose their temper. When they realize that they have committed a mistake in judgment, they should not insist on it by trying to justify it. When truth is made clear to them, or when the right path opens up before them, they should not consider it below their dignity to correct the mistake made, or to undo the wrong done by them. They should not be corrupt, covetous or greedy. They should not be satisfied with ordinary inquiry or scrutiny of a case, but should scrupulously go through all the pros and cons. They must examine every aspect of the problem carefully, and whenever and wherever they find doubtful and ambiguous points, they must stop, go through further details, clear the points, and only then proceed with their decisions. They must attach the greatest importance to reasoning, arguments and proofs. They should not get tired of lengthy discussions and arguments. They must exhibit patience and perseverance in scanning the details, in testing the points presented as true, in sifting facts from fiction, and when truth is revealed to them, they must pass their judgments without fear, favor or prejudice. They should not develop vanity and conceit when compliments and praises are showered upon them. They should not be misled by flattery and cajolery, but unfortunately there are few persons having such characteristics. After you have selected such men to act as your judges, make it a point to go through some of their judgments, and to check their proceedings. Pay them handsomely so that their needs are fully satisfied, and they are not required to beg or borrow or resort to corruption. Give them such a prestige and position in your state that none of your courtiers or officers can overlord them or bring harm to them. Let judiciary be above every kind of executive pressure or influence, above fear or favor, intrigue or corruption. Take every particular care of this aspect, because before your appointment this state was under the sway of corrupt, time-serving and wealth-grasping opportunists who were lewd, greedy and vicious, and who wanted nothing out of a state but a sinful consent of amassing wealth and pleasures for themselves. Then come the officers of your state. You must supervise their work. They must be appointed after a careful scrutiny of their capabilities and characters. These appointments must be made originally on probation, without any kind of favoritism being shown, or influence being accepted. Otherwise tyranny, corruption and misrule will reign in your state. While selecting your officers, take care to select experienced and honorable persons, members of respectable families, who had served Islam during its early days, because these are usually of noble character and good repute. They are not greedy and cannot be easily bribed. They mostly have before them the ultimate result of their thoughts and their deeds. Keep them also well paid, so that they may not be tempted to lower their standard of morality and may not misappropriate the cash of the state, which they hold in their trust. And if after being paid handsomely they prove dishonest, then you will be right to punish them. Therefore keep a careful watch over their system of work and rule. You may also appoint trustworthy and honest men to keep a watch over the activities of these officers. The knowledge that they are being watched secretly will keep them away from dishonesty, misrule, malpractice and tyrannizing the subjects. protect your government from dishonest officers. If you find any of them dishonest, and your confidential intelligence service submits acceptable proofs of his dishonesty, then you must punish him. This may be corporal punishment, besides dismissal from service and taking back from him all which he has dishonestly collected. He must be humiliated and must be made to realize the infamy of his wicked deeds. His humiliation and punishment must be given publicly, so that it may serve as a lesson and a deterrent to others. So far as collection of land revenues and taxes are concerned, you must always keep in view the welfare of the taxpayers, which is of primary importance than the taxes themselves, because these taxes and the taxpayers are the original sources on which the welfare of your state and its subjects depend. A state really lives upon the revenues collected from the taxpayers. Therefore, more importance should be attached to the fertility of land than to the collection of taxes, because actual taxable capacity of people rests upon the fertility of the land. The ruler who does not pay attention to the prosperity of his subjects and fertility of the land, but concentrates only on collection of revenues, lays waste the land, and consequently ruins the state, and brings destruction to the creatures of God. His rule cannot last for long. If the taxpayers complain to you of the heavy incidence to taxation, of any accidental calamity, of the vagaries of the monsoons, of the recession of the means of irrigation, of floods or destruction of their crops on account of excessive rainfall, and if their complaints are true, then reduce their taxes. This reduction should be such that it provides them opportunities to improve their conditions and eases them of their troubles. Decrease in state income due to such reasons should not depress you, because the best investment for a ruler is to help his subjects at the time of their difficulties. They are the real wealth of a country, and any investment on them, even in the form of reduction of taxes, will be returned to the state in the shape of the prosperity of its cities and improvement of the country at large. At the same time, you will be in a position to command and secure their love, respect and praises along with the revenues. Will that not be a lasting happiness? Not only this, but your benign rule and humane treatment will so affect them that they will come to your help at the time of your difficulties, and you will be able to rely on their support. Your kindness, your clemency and your justice will be a kind of moral training to them, and contented, happy and prosperous life, for which they will be grateful to you, will be the best support, strongest protection and the greatest treasure for you later, if such circumstances arrive that you find yourself in need of their support, their help, their confidence, their wealth and their manpower. Then they will have no grudge against you. Remember, Malik, if a country is prosperous, and if its people are well-to-do, then it will happily and willingly bear any burden. The poverty of the people is the actual cause of the devastation and ruination of a country, and the main cause of the poverty of the people is the desire of its ruler and officers to amass wealth and possessions, whether by fair or foul means. They are afraid of losing their posts or positions and sway or rule, and want to make the most during the shortest time at their disposal. They never learn any lesson from the history of nations, and never pay any attention to the commands of God. You will also have to be very careful about your secretaries. You should entrust your work only to those who are the best among them, especially the affairs which are of confidential nature, and which deal with secrets. And the security of the state should be entrusted only to men of noble character, because men who are intoxicated with power, position and prestige carry on propaganda and speak against the government in public. They openly misbehave with you, and consider themselves so important as to ignore you or your orders. In financial transactions essential to the state, they avoid placing necessary papers before you, or attending to important correspondence,